What's up, upstanders? Dr. O here, and I am here to put final closure to all of the debate over who's the GOAT. If y'all don't know what GOAT stands for those who don't know, greatest of all time, first made popular by rapper LL Cool J. Anywho, Stephen A. Smith is wrong, Shannon Sharp is wrong, Perk is wrong, they're all wrong, Skip Bayless, they're all wrong. So, using all of my scholarship that I learned, putting this PhD together, writing a best-selling book, traveling the world, studying at some of the best universities, I have done the research to provide you with the definitive answer of who is the GOAT. This impeccable research, well verified. The greatest of all time between Michael Jordan and LeBron James is Michael Jameston, or McKellebron Jordames. Look, what? Yo, you know why these GOAT debates, and this is for any GOAT debate, but the reason why all of these GOAT debates are ridiculous is because they're not based in any real facts. Oh no, they're not based on any agreeable facts. They're not based in any set criteria. And so in my classes that I teach, or whenever I'm doing a training, relating to leadership or diversity, and I talk about all of the debates people are having, I always ask them to define the language that they're talking about. Because I could be talking about racism, and if I go around the room into a group of 20 people, I can get 10 different definitions of racism. You got different definitions for woke, different definitions for DEI, and so everybody's arguing based on the criteria that they have. That's what we do in sports. It's the same thing we do in music, same thing we do at any GOAT conversation. And look, I've engaged in many GOAT conversations over the years, and I'm not going to get into it with y'all about who my GOAT is. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to these GOAT conversations, let's take it back to Michael and LeBron James, is that everybody's going to give the criteria that fits their guy. I was listening to Rich Paul give his criteria about why LeBron is the greatest. And I know people who would shoot that out of the water. I've known people who played with Barkley. People like Barkley, who played with Jordan. Now Barkley doesn't engage in the MJ debates like that, at least not like he used to. He doesn't do that, right? But people who played with him will say, he's the greatest ever, so on and so forth. But guys, it's nice for fun debate, but people get serious about this stuff. People will be like, yo, take me off of threads, take me off of text chains, take me off of their social media posts. People stop talking to each other, and it's like, for what? Look, the fact of the matter is, what is your criteria? And then your GOAT is based on your criteria. But there's no such thing as the GOAT until people come up with a set criteria. Look at what Shaq was saying a couple of weeks ago. He was saying, I think it's time to put Curry in the GOAT conversation. After Kobe Bryant passed, many people were putting Kobe in the top 10, and he wasn't in many people's top 10 before. And Shaq was like, yo, again, that's my guy. What's the criteria? And the criteria shifts, because now some people will say it's based on whoever scored the most points in NBA history, but they weren't saying that when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was it. Now some people were saying, well, it's if you go undefeated in the finals. So is Michael Jordan's going 6-0 in the finals more important or more significant than being in the finals 10 times, as LeBron was? Is it about championships? Because clearly it's neither one of them. It's Bill Russell. But then people, as we know, the J.J. Redicks of the world, even the LeBron Jameses of the world, and will say, back in those era, people like Giannis who scored 250 points and stuff. But none of these guys take into consideration that if you take a Bob Cousy or a Wilt Chamberlain who will dominate, or Bill Russell will dominate in their time, and you have them start playing basketball at the age of 5 like guys do now, these are different conversations, right? So my point is, until people finally start to define stuff, until people agree to a set criteria, which they never will, GOAT debates and conversations are irrelevant. I will also say that some of these guys who like to Skip Bayless, who I literally heard and watched him say, my job is to protect Michael Jordan's legacy. That's not your job. Your job is to be a journalist. or a sports reporter or whatever people are calling themselves nowadays. That's your job. And look, 20 years from now, whoever's commentating is going to say some guy, I'm assuming LeBron won't be playing at age 60, but I know. There's going to be some other guy that people are going to be saying is the GOAT. Look, they do the same thing in hip hop. Who's the greatest based on? Is it based on who won the most Grammys? Is it based on who sold the most albums? Is it based on something out there in the world called cultural impact? Like, what is it based on? What is it based on? And so I feel like at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, look at Dr. J. People were mad a while ago when people asked Dr. J who his top 5 were, and Michael Jordan wasn't on the list. It was like a whole news cycle. Oh my gosh, he didn't name Michael Jordan. And when people asked him about it, you know what Dr. J said? He said, my GOAT is based on the 5 people who inspired me to play basketball. That's his list. Ain't nobody, so no one who played after him is going to be on that list. And so look, I can go stat for stat. I can quote all the statistics that make Michael Jordan the GOAT. I can go all the statistics that make LeBron the GOAT. All the statistics that make Russell, Kareem. I can go down the list. But people aren't interested in that. People are interested in the clicks and so on and so forth. But again, whether we're talking politics, and then of course there's a whole thing about different eras. But before I get to that, there's also this thing about people saying modern day players always get critiqued by journalists and past players. Like, I couldn't play in this era. Every generation has to deal with that. I remember seeing Wilt Chamberlain saying that he would score like 55 in today's generation, and this was in the 90s, before he passed. Everybody says that. And so, yes, that, and then, you get old, current players or people closer to current players who diss the old heads. It happens in every field. It happens in music, so on and so forth. And there's a whole chicken or the egg, like, who started it first? Was it the OGs or was it the current guys? Was it Anthony Edwards who said Michael Jordan was the first player with skill? And then Magic was like, I don't take any critique or from anybody who's not won anything on the high school, college, or professional level. So I think that there are some real issues that go with these GOAT debates. And, they can be fun, but I feel like nowadays people make them too personal. People have too much invested in it. Like, they lose if their guy isn't labeled the GOAT. We saw, obviously, with all the Stephen A. LeBron stuff, Stephen A. says, your real issue, LeBron, is that I'm never going to consider you the GOAT. I don't think that LeBron thinks about Stephen A. that much on that particular issue. I just don't. I just can't see that. So, yeah, what do y'all think? Am I right? Look, y'all, set the criteria and we can have the debate. But again, are you putting that criteria out that's going to agree with your guy? And these are discussions that need to happen in everything that we're doing. Whether we're talking about GOAT debates, whether we're talking about how you define racism, homophobia, sexism, just whatever it is. Spend more time defining the terms. And then once you define the terms, the debate is already resolved. There's no point in even having the debate because the criteria has been set. But y'all are going to have more beef coming up with the criteria than anything else. I'm just glad that I've lived to see 2 of the people who are on most people's list of the top 2 players in the league, definitely the top 5 players in the league, to see them play. I mean, I never saw LeBron play in real life. I've seen MJ play twice in real life. I've never seen LeBron play in real life, so I got to get to a game. But other than that, why can't we just enjoy the moments that we've had? Why can't we just enjoy the moments that we've had with, Michael Jackson versus Prince? Like, why can't we just enjoy it? Just enjoy it. Ain't no GOAT in anything. And that's a definitive, impeccably sourced response. Let me know what you think. Peace.